So I'm here with Jonathan Lopez from At Your Door Mobile Pet Grooming, and Jonathan was a student of mine, graduated in 2014, so it's been 6 years. Wow, that's fast. But Jonathan, tell me about your business, when you started and why you started and so forth.
So I started my business 14 months ago.
Okay.
Just felt that there was a need. People have really busy, hectic lifestyle, and I noticed that services such like Amazon, is growing very rapidly.
Sure.
So I knew that there was a niche and there was a need for my service because I feel like people have more money than time now.
Okay.
So people with that are retired, that's one of my biggest clients. People that have had kids, they just don't have the time to load the dog into the car, drive it there, wait 4 hours and pick it up.
Right.
So I felt like that's where I would fit into the market, and I knew that there was a need for it.
Okay. When was the first time that you got involved at all in pet grooming?
So I started grooming on and off. I've been grooming for 10 years.
Okay.
I started at a corporate store, and actually that's how I paid my way through college. Was I would get on a payment plan, and I would just get 12 credits, and all my money from grooming, half of it would be to just live, and half of it would be to pay my schooling.
So you were doing mobile grooming?
That was at a corporate shop.
Oh, at a shop.
At a shop.
Okay.
Right.
So you were working quite a while in this. When you graduated in 2014. What did you do when you graduated?
So I did a bunch of different jobs,
Okay.
but that was something as I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. So
Okay.
I tried real estate,
Okay.
and I failed at it miserably.
Why do you think that's true?
So I just wasn't hustling, if I'm honest with myself.
Okay.
I just and these lessons I carry through my other businesses.
Sure.
So I just wasn't doing the work. I thought, hey, I'll work 1 hour a day and go to the gym and avoid making the phone calls that, looking back, is what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I also did door-to-door sales. I sold solar panels door-to-door.
Oh, okay.
And that actually taught me more lessons than anything. So it taught me how to speak to people, strangers, how to read body language, how to convince them that my product is what's right for them, and then just how to ask questions and have them tell me what they need instead of me telling them what they need.
Right. And so you did that for a while, and then what?
And then so doing that solar job, it was $10.99. So when I did the math, I was making $4 an hour, which is laughable, right? But this was gonna get me. It was teaching me so many lessons that I carried over to my own business. So I worked
kind of like a school.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, just you have to be an intern, right?
Yeah.
And you get paid lower money, but eventually you know that you're gonna be a professor and make more money, or have more responsibility. But to me, that was me being my internship, essentially. And then I worked for Mo in Town. I pretty much just didn't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
But I say, hey, there's a need for this, and I could do it better. Why not? So I left that job. Did
so Mobile in Town is another mobile pet grooming company. Yes,
they're my number one competitor, but at this point they're not even my competitor. They're just
okay. And where in town did you work doing the mobile pet grooming?
So it's they have 13 vans now.
Oh, okay.
They're a big company. They probably got 30 employees.
And so you started out on your own. Did you have your own van?
No. So actually, how did I get funded, right? So I bought a house 3 years ago, and I said, hey, there's pretty good equity on this. My wife said, heck no, you've already failed at real estate, you've failed at solar, how is this going to be any different? So she didn't want to do it, but we got a loan for $35,000, second mortgage. I had to literally take her hand to sign. And, it was just a leap of faith, and I felt at this point I had done enough. I understood the business, which was the biggest thing.
Right, you've been working in it.
I've been working it, and I knew it was great, and I had a ton of clients. So I knew that maybe grooming wasn't what I saw like my future being.
Uh-huh.
So people say, do what you're passionate about. So maybe grooming wasn't my passion, but it was what I was good at.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Sometimes maybe we push a little bit too much. Oh, do what you're passionate about. Maybe like you should think about like we're not good at sometimes what we're passionate about. Like
Right.
we're good at something else. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I knew that I had the work ethic, and everything just came full circle to where it worked.
Were there any numbers that you had in your mind, like when you were trying to figure this out, like?
Yes.
So like you have like back of the envelope calculations. I only need
so
this many clients or whatever.
Yeah, I figured. Well, there's like you need 150 clients. You put them on a monthly schedule, and that will do it.
Okay.
But that's not how I did one. That's not how I want to run my business. So actually, I had 0 customers because I didn't want to, like, the people that I had worked for, I didn't want to say.
You didn't want to steal their.
I didn't want to steal their clients, so I just, advertised on Yelp heavily.
Really?
Yes, and that built the business, like, more than anything.
So, out of curiosity and for students that might watch this, like, how much does it cost to advertise on Yelp?
So you could do it different ways.
Okay.
You could do like a monthly budget. You could do a daily budget. Me personally, I was doing $450 a month.
Okay.
But the return on that easily was like $4,000 to $5,000.
Really? That's great. When did you start? Like November?
Yeah.
Right before Christmas?
Which in grooming is the best time.
Oh,
because,
okay, great.
November and December tend to be the busiest months.
Okay.
Because people want to get their pets groomed for the holidays. They got a company coming over, so they want to put that image like I take care of my dog.
Sure.
Some do, some don't, but
So you started in November, and you bought a van beforehand?
So I looked at a couple of vans, went to California and looked at 3 of them. And there was a guy, he was growing his business and he needed to get rid of a van. He said, everything's great. So I bought it for $32,000. And then next week, the generator blew out. So that was $7,000 I had to put on a credit card.
Wow.
So like from the get-go, I was in the whole like 39K.
Yeah, so you took out a loan for 35, but then you were.
Well, I took 35, 32 in the van, insurance, supplies, all that.
Yeah.
And then another 7,000.
That's
so
really
42.
stressful.
It was extremely stressful, but I mean, the first 3 months I worked 7 days a week, 12, 14-hour days.
It was just you.
Just me. And I remember a time grooming at 12:30 a.m.
But you had that much business.
Yes.
That's great.
And that was from Yelp.
Yeah, from Yelp you were able to generate that much business that you were from the beginning.
Yeah, from day one I had 5 customers lined up, and then started off 3 to 4 dogs a day, and then within 2 months I was doing 8 to 10 a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. When you decided to go out on your own here, did you have a model in mind? I mean, you'd worked for a company, so you kind of had a specific model. Is there any other business model that you looked at that you thought, oh, I want to do something similar, or another person that you wanted to emulate?
Sure. So the company that makes the vans, they're called Wagon Tails. They say that you should aim for $80 an hour.
Okay.
If you do 6 dogs, $480.
Okay.
So me personally, I shoot for $500 a day was my goal.
Okay.
So I said if I could make $500 a day, my overhead when I pay insurance, taxes, van payment, gas, it's about $4,000 to $5,000. So if you do the math, it's like what 14K minus 5K would be around 8 to 9K.
Okay. And so that company kind of gives you some nice pointers about how to do the business.
Yes, they make it look very nice, but in the real world, those numbers they make it look nicer than it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's probably a couple of $1,000 more bucks than they say. But I did have a model to work off of.
So. Do you follow other mobile groomers on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you see what they do?
Yeah, so mainly the mobile ones. I would go on Yelp and like systematically click the first one. What are they charging for a big dog? What are they charging for a little dog? And when you look at the prices, I'm more expensive than all of them, to be honest. And I do have people say, well, I got a bunch of quotes and you're actually the highest. And I say, well, I understand, but my price is not based on your budget.
Right.
I said it in a nice way. It's based on the numbers that we need to make that I know that work.
Right.
And I'll hear no like 10 times, and then I'll have one person say yes. So you get used to, like when I hear no now, it doesn't even faze me. It's just, I know it's getting me closer to that next customer, and when I do get that customer, they're going to recommend like 5 other friends.
Okay, well that's great. That's great. Now you had one van, then have you grown since then?
Yeah, I had one van, and then I would do 5 days, but I was working so much that it was getting to be, like, I didn't see my kids or my wife.
Sure.
So it was kind of getting in the way of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So my older brother's a groomer as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I hired him for 2 days, and then we got so busy that we're booking out 2 to 3 weeks in advance. So I bought another van about like 7 months ago, and then I will work 5 days my van, he will work 5 days his van, and then we got so busy again that I had to hire another groomer. So within about 8-9 months, we were up to me, my brother, and then another girl and her boyfriend, and they did like 4 days.
Okay.
So every day that the van is not rolling, I'm actually losing money.
Sure. So you kind of try to keep it busy all the time.
So yeah, we're open every day, 8 till 8. Dogs need to be groomed, and the employees know these things, so they're okay with working longer days, or they're usually on like 4/10s.
Right.
So they enjoy the 3 days off.
Okay. Cool. To what point do you want to grow?
So I spoke to my competitor. So I was gonna buy a van off of him, and he has 13 vans, and he said honestly, 4 vans is like the best, because when you get over 4, he's like, you're not really making much more profit for all the problems that come with it.
Right.
So I think I'm actually in the process of getting a 3rd van now, and hiring 2 more people, and just probably keeping it there for a while.
Do you focus on a specific area of town?
So we go everywhere. We could be in Centennial, we could be in the east side, we could be around here. Mainly, we have a lot of clients in Summerlin, Southern Highlands, Henderson. But we go all over the valley. But each groomer lives in a different point, so they kind of start there and work their way up.
Okay, good. Something that I've been thinking about recently is role models. So, has there been like a specific person in your life that's been a role model for you as an entrepreneur?
Yes. So I study. I don't know if you know who Grant Cardone is. So he's a big entrepreneur. He's written like multiple books.
Okay.
He invests. He's in social media. He has a huge following.
Okay.
He buys like apartment complexes, and he's a syndicator. So he gets people to invest with him, and then he like gives them distributions. But one of his books is called "Be Obsessed or Be Average," and like everything in that book was like, I felt like I wrote that book without writing it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right.
So I take like all that advice from his book, and I try to apply it to my business. And
when did you read that?
So I read that about 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
And it's crazy. Like, he says to write down your goals, and I wrote down I want to make my business to make $24,000 a month, and I want to have 3 to 4 vans. And it's crazy. Within 14 months, it's happening.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
So I was like, it blew me away. So I just study him, what he does, and I just try to copy him.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I don't feel like too many people try to reinvent the wheel. But if you just follow the basics and do it constantly, which is what I do in my business, you go like really far.
Right, yeah. That's cool. Do you follow anybody else on social media for that kind of motivation or advice for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of people.
Sure.
I mean, I studied Warren Buffett. I studied Simon Sinek. I did Bigger Pockets. They're more of like a real estate.
Real estate, yeah.
I listen to them like all the time. But I do feel like you could like, if you listen to too much advice, it can be bad, because then you start getting confused.
Right.
Because this person, like Dave Ramsey says save.
Yeah.
Grant says leverage.
Yeah.
And me, I'm more of a leverage type of person.
Sure.
Because I feel like I do it in an intelligent way.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Audible, I listen to it all the time. I probably, the last year I did like $34.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I hate reading.
But you can listen.
But I can listen all day. So.
Yeah. If you could talk to him, Grant, what would you ask him?
That's a great question. I would say, how do I become a billionaire?
Okay. Is that a goal for you?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Well, maybe not billionaire, but at least over 10 million.
That's great. Do you follow any other businesses on YouTube or
Yeah, I follow
social media?
Yeah, of course. Crumble Cookies, one I've been.
What is it about them that you're interested in?
So I love. Okay, so my business, I'm trying to transition from me being the business and the face, and everybody wants Jonathan, to have the business run itself without me. So say something would happen to me, I want the business to run itself. Mm-hmm. I want to travel and not have to worry about like the truck broke down or this dog got hurt. Yeah. I just want it to run itself, just pretty much like a model, like McDonald's, any franchise. So that's what I really like about Crumble, is that I feel like they could hire a 16-year-old kid and they could just follow this system, and it's not complex, and they're making a killing.
Right. How did you realize? I mean, did you just visit Crumble and think, oh wow, this is it runs really well, or what is it that you?
So I read a book called The E-Myth.
Okay.
And it shows like this girl, and she works at a bakery shop, and she's like burnt out, and that's how I would been feeling a lot. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, how do I work on my business, not in my business? Yeah. And then I listened to another podcast, and they interviewed the guy that created Crumble pretty much. Okay. And he was just talking about it, and I've been to the store. My kids love going to the store. Sure, yeah. And I saw the way they did things, like even when you walk in, that experience, it's open, it's white, their logo is pink. Yeah. I mean, even when they give you the cookies, he said on the podcast, we open it every single time. So when I went and got my cookies last Sunday, they opened it. So they got the processes down, so the experience is really good every time. Yeah, the experience is the same. Every single time I've been there, it's literally the same thing. You line up, they ask you what you want, you wait like 2 or 3 minutes, they bring it out, show it to you, and you leave happy. So it's that same experience every single time. It has so I go to barbershops, and every barbershop I go to, I always have a different experience, and I hate it. Right. So that's why I never go to the same person. Right. So that's what I really love about Crumble. Is like, it's simple. Any kid can do it. Right. So they can pay them cheap, which is good for the business owner. Yeah. Which sounds greedy, but you're providing them with a job. So. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, when you become a business owner, you kind of look at it through a different lens. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I admire the model, and I see that it works, and I love their marketing on Instagram. I think it's really good. Yeah. How they do like flavors of the week, and it's done at a high level. It looks great. Right. And their branding is, I mean, anyone can see the pink box. They know it's Crumble. Now, have you been working on that with your own business, trying to incorporate some of the branding stuff so that you have a cohesive brand? So that's something that I'm struggling with now, to be honest. And that's kind of your next step? That's my next step, because we have one band that's white. One looks fantastic. But then the next one, it's from a different company, so they have the image is copyrighted, so I can't really transfer it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to just do one image or logo that can be consistent with our, so people just see the logo and they know who it is. Yeah, that's good. For you, what are the signs of a successful business? And you know, what makes a business or an entrepreneur someone that you want to emulate? Very good question. I mean, just what value are you bringing to people? Okay. Because, like, anyone can do a groom, right? Sure. But, like, hey, this dog, 4 people couldn't do it. They said it was horrible. The owner was stressing out. I went, did the dog, no problem. Went to her doorstep. All she had to do was click a few buttons to book her appointment. I showed up on time, showed up with a smile, did the dog, you know, and then now she's not stressed. I can keep going back to her every time. She'll be a customer for life. Right. And I created an experience, and I brought, like, I'm getting paid because I'm doing something that's bringing value to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too many like business people like it's all about me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of like one thing I hate is when people say it's not my job.
Sure.
So like when I hear people say it's not my job, it's like, yeah, it's not your job, but like you should be a steward and try to provide a service. And yeah, right now you may not get paid off in the moment,
right?
But in the long term, you're like you can get a better job, or
yeah,
you never know what's gonna come out of it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and you don't know, but like it's weird. Like a lot of if you just put yourself out there and do good will come back to you.
Right.
And I've been seeing it like so much that it's like it's crazy.
Are there any businesses or entrepreneurs out there that you think are maybe couldn't be role models for you, or they're just not appropriate, or it just doesn't apply to you?
I mean, no, I think like you could take something from each person that you think could do good in your business. I mean, Grant says never buy a house. I own a house, and I think it's a great investment.
Sure.
But all of his other stuff I take with me, and I think it's fantastic.
Sure.
So, I think you could take something from everyone and make it your own.
What about? Do you follow or read about anybody from other countries?
Not really. But
U.S. is a pretty big market, so it's easy to have enough to learn just from from here in the
and
US.
I think like U.S. is the trendsetters, I would say.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Now I want to talk about, okay, you've been out for 6 years. You majored in management, graduated in 2014. What did you learn from college that has helped you with your business? Because you've been growing really rapidly, which is great. And then what are some things that you wish you would have had?
Sure. So I do my own accounting. So I think UNLV does a great job with their accounting program. It's like fantastic.
Right.
And I do think classes like yours, I think for people it's a huge missed opportunity that they're not going all in on it. I feel like too many people are like, well, it's just a class, like it fits in my schedule. But I mean, say you're a barber or you're good at makeup. Right. You could have a great business out of it, and it's like an opportunity to test out your idea,
and you get credit.
And you get credit, but like, hey, this could be your life in the future.
Sure, yeah.
If you go hard, and then I mean, I feel like school you're comfortable,
right?
Which I think outside of school, just keep in mind that school is just like a stepping stone. Like you should always be learning or listening to audiobooks.
Totally agree with that.
It's just like. To me, school, I was very comfortable. Yeah. And then when I got in the real world, I got smacked in the face.
Right.
But, I mean, you learn and just be willing to change. Like.
That's good. What kind of advice would you give to UNLV? Is there something that we could do better?
To UNLV? I mean, maybe with, like, say, like, your program, like, the Lean Startups, like, actually give money to the students
so that they can do something big.
Yeah, so then because everything sounds good on paper, but once you actually do it, the learning is accelerated exponentially.
Sure, yeah.
So I mean, even if someone, I don't know, say have an idea for a coffee stand, like, hey, here's $5,000, let's go to downtown and try it. And what were the numbers? What did you make? What were the expenses? Because as a business owner, like, the more expenses I have, that's less money in my pocket.
Okay.
So I think like a real world like experience would be super beneficial.
Okay. Is there any going back to working for somebody else?
Never.
Okay.
There's not, just because like today, hey, and you reached out to me, I had an open in my calendar because my truck is being serviced. So I was able to come, bring value to people.
Yeah.
It was something to be honest, I was a little bit apprehensive,
right?
But I do notice when I put myself in uncomfortable situations is where I've grown the most,
right?
And like I said, I'm providing value to the people listening now,
yeah.
And maybe they'll take one or two things, and they can apply it, and hopefully it makes a difference in their life or their business.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's great, Jonathan. Really, thank you for talking with me. I think it's really helpful to see someone who you're not too far out from where some of our students are in class, and I really wish you the best of luck as you continue to grow. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and I would say like age is just a number. Like you could be 18, you could be 19.
Yeah.
You can start your business like if I could give an advice to anyone listening, don't wait.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be 30, 35. Biggest thing is taking action, getting started, and just figure it out.
Yeah.
Because nothing is set in stone, and you will make mistakes, but you'll learn.
Sure.
And you'll grow as a person, and you'll grow as an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot.